Hi there, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm your deranged little gidget, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week of Bloodhaus, Josh.
Hooray!
Huzzah.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, my dear old friend, writer, actor, former Kim's Video clerk, Dylan Dawson. Hi, Dylan.
Hello. Hi. It's an honor to be here on Bloodhaus. Just a true honor.
Not anymore. Josh dyed his hair back again.
I know.
I guess that's right. But just for today.
How's it going?
It's going all right. I hope the rain, it's like, a cozy rainy day in LA. And I'm in the back house off our garage here. And I hope the rain isn't interfering with the sound at all. But yeah, it's just a nice, cozy President's Day. Not to date the podcast, but yeah,
it is President's Day,
which I honor.
Yes, Drusilla, you would love this. Dylan basically has a video store in his garage. You guys would really love each other's VHS collection.
Bliss in heaven. The room that I'm recording this from is my studio where I do all my design work. And you can't see it right now, but behind me is like a giant shelf of all my like horror tapes. The other side is all of my like classic Hollywood art house and porn tapes, and then the top of the staircase that leads into this is like the primo horror tapes where like Frankenhookers ever there and stuff like that. And that's what my girlfriend and I call the video store, because it's just this little section of the house with this nice like heavy 70s shag rug and a bunch of like Elvira prints from the 80s, and then
it looks
Frankenhooker, Dr. Caligari, like all the like super weird niche. I think we just got Liquid Sky on tape for up there. Yeah.
Am I imagining this, or was there a Frankenhooker VHS that you could press a button and it said "Want a date"?
Yes,
that's very real.
Make that up?
And that's the one that I have.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
it
that
doesn't
is
talk
incredible.
anymore, but it just needs a new battery.
It never sounded like her anyway. Like you can watch a YouTube video
It's crispy.
And it sounds insane. It does not sound like her at all.
It's like the same technology as those Hallmark greeting cards that you can talk into, essentially.
It sounds
honestly
like
perfect.
Have you ever heard of the dolls that Thomas Edison created in like the 1910s? The talking dolls that had like a tiny Victrola in their belly or something, but they sound insane. And essentially it's a woman screaming, but it's like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And that's what the Frankenhooker VHS sounded like.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to get mine fixed. For my girlfriend to just break it all over again so she doesn't have to hear it.
Also, for our longtime listeners and for Drusilla, for context and for, credibility, just to show the connections, Dylan and I have been friends for many, many years, but also Dylan's wife has been on our show. Her name is Heather Robb. She's a singer-songwriter, and she was on our House of the Devil episode because she's in House of the Devil as the dorm mate in the beginning.
Yeah, that is correct. She is
so it's a small world.
Very sexually active roommates in that movie.
Dylan,
she's in a bunch
of
Ty West movies.
Yeah, she is. How are you? Have you been watching anything cool? What's going on?
I've been trying to catch up on new movies. and then I've weirdly been watching a lot of erotic thrillers lately. I sometimes go through those phases. But the thing I saw recently that sort of like connects to Blonde Death, that I would highly recommend to you too specifically is, if you haven't seen it already, the Los Feliz 3 did the screening of, have you heard of this thing called Triple Fisher? It's this movie, this very outsider artist, who is currently running for DA of Los Angeles. He's a very interesting guy. He, back in the day when the Amy Fisher, Joey Buttafuoco thing went down, there were 3 TV movies that 2 of which came out the same day. One with Drew Barrymore as Amy Fisher, one with Alyssa Milano as
Alyssa Milano. That's one I remember.
Yeah, and then there was a third one, and I can't remember that actress's name, but she was actually the best one. And one was from the point of view of Buttafuoco and sort of sided with him. And then one was from her point of view, and the other one was like from a journalist's point of view, looking outside, looking in. And so what he did is he edited them all into one movie.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
And it's so radical. It's so cool. And it's so funny. And and they just I saw that they were doing the screening of it. So I had to see it because it might be on YouTube. I'm not sure. But yeah, the guy, he's like an attorney now.
So cool.
He's a very eccentric guy. He had just had a debate that morning. He's like a really progressive candidate for DA. I should look up his name. But anyway, it was really interesting.
His name is Dan Kaplevitz?
Sure.
Kaplowitz?
That sounds right.
The first two photos of him that I can find on the internet are him with Bob Odenkirk and him with John Waters. So
yeah, that sounds right.
He's got my vote.
He has my vote for sure. He was also just like, he's super progressive, obviously, and just he was in the film world, but he was just like, I was too much of an outsider. I was an outsider even among the outsider friends of mine. So I had to become a lawyer, and I still do this. Currently, he is while running for DA. His current project is he's making a movie called Literally 48 Hours, where he is trying to take the movie 48 Hours and make it literally 48 hours in real time. I don't know how he's doing this. But this is like his life's work, is this project, I guess.
Whoa.
So anyway, vote for him for DA. So that was like really, really interesting. And not just like, it wasn't like a gimmick that was fun for 5 minutes. It was just constantly entertaining the whole way through, and just like to see 3 versions of the shooting of Buttafuoco's wife, like layered on top of each other, and just the way they were shot, like just from like little different points of view, even from that shooting is really interesting. It was just like became this really interesting piece about like point of view, and also sleaze and tabloid journalism. So it was just really good. I can't recommend it enough, and it sort of feels very aligned with Blonde Death, obviously, in many ways. But that was the last thing I'm telling my friends about that I saw whenever I see them.
We'll have a lot of discussions about outsider art today, I presume. But I always learn about the coolest stuff from you. Like, it sounds similar to the Beaver trilogy, which I heard about from you and loved, which is also formally experimental, which listeners, I mentioned it so long ago that I don't know if anyone would remember, but it's like 3 variations on the same short film by the same filmmaker who's basically working out his guilt about it. So the first one's a short documentary, which is the true story. Then there's a second version of it and a third version with even a higher budget, but it goes like documentary. And then the version stars a young Sean Penn and then a young Crispin Glover. And it's just like such a wild thing to watch the same story told by the same filmmaker 3 times as they get kind of better and get more money, but are also more and more guilty about what happened in the real event. It's just like such a weird, formally experimental film that's like also funny and moving and strange
and features the greatest Olivia Newton-John song of all time.
That song I listen to all the time because of that movie.
Yeah.
When I worked at a movie theater, that was recommended to me so many times. I still haven't seen it yet.
It's really cool.
You can buy it. I bought it directly. You buy it directly from the filmmaker. And then Netflix made a documentary about it called Beaver Trilogy 4, which was about the making of it, which was sort of like a glorified special feature, but is really interesting once you watch it. But you buy it just from
really
the guy,
interesting
which
story.
Is how I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you, Drusilla? Have you been watching anything cool? I've
been watching so much stuff lately. One of which is super on the nose for what we're talking about today, so I'll save that for the last. But I was catching up on a lot of like great directors that I love that I haven't seen enough of yet. So I watched Guy Maddin's Archangel, which I hadn't seen, which is like his World War I movie, which it's Guy Maddin, so it's always like amnesia and hypnosis and like double lovers and twins and like a woman brought back from the dead and ghosts, and it's fucking incredible, and he can do no wrong. And then I watched Jean Roland's first movie. We talked about him a lot of like last year,
Lips of Blood,
when we did Lips of Blood with Steak. But I watched Rape of the Vampire, which is his first movie, which I always avoided because it's called Rape of the Vampire.
Yeah.
And I was like, that might not be fun. Spoiler alert, it rules, and there's no rape in it.
Oh.
It's very, very, very good. It's even more experimental than his other movies. It's in black and white, and it's like formally like it's technically like two movies stitched together because it's like it's presented as a melodrama in two acts, and like you get the first bit of the movie, which is very gothic castle, and then it stops, and then you get a credit sequence for the next part of the movie. In which like whole new characters are introduced, and it like takes on a whole medical subplot and stuff with like the queen of the vampires coming, and it's amazing. I also really want to shout out an Elio Petri movie I watched recently with Marcello Mastroianni and Ursula Andress called The 10th Victim, which is fucking mind-blowingly beautiful. It's like a pseudo sci-fi pop art comedy. It's very in the same vein of like Danger Diabolic and Barbarella, and it's like set in a near future where the government has sanctioned a hunt where people are allowed to hunt each other and murder them in public if you are like assigned to hunt someone or not. And Marcello Mastroianni is assigned to be hunted down by Ursula Andress from Dr. No. And she just seduces him instead. There's a scene where she kills a man with a like machine gun bikini, which was like totally ripped off in Austin Powers. And like every costume and set piece and like production design is more incredible than the last. But everything for the most part is like black and white wardrobes, black and white settings, black and white rooms. And then it'll have like one wall will be like the most like searing neon pink you've ever seen, or Ursula Andress will be wearing like a neon green jumpsuit. It's so fucking gorgeous. Elio Petri's incredible and was such a big fucking commie. He made Working Class Go to Heaven and Investigation of a Citizen of Suspicion, and his shit rules, and I loved it. But then the super sleazy trashy movie that I watched for the first time that Josh, you're going to be really shocked that I had never seen before, because I feel like it's probably one that you like a lot, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So I watched Freeway for the first time this week.
Oh, wow.
Yes! Yes.
Which there could not be a more on the nose like double bill with Blonde Death than Freeway.
It's true.
For like SoCal dirtbag blonde nightmare movies.
God, what a killer movie that is.
What an insane
that movie scared me.
movie.
Legitimately scared me when I rented it as a 13-year-old or whatever it was. Like it scared me in a way that other movies didn't scare me, but I loved it. But
Pitched in the 90s as like a standard slick, like maybe slightly erotic thriller in the same vein as like Poison Ivy or something like that. And so I had no interest in it because like, oh, it's Reese Witherspoon and it's Kiefer Sutherland. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. And then like I had a boss years ago that was like, you should see Freeway. It's like Little Red Riding Hood, like, but like realistic as a thriller. And I was like, that doesn't sound interesting to me, but sure, thanks, whatever. And then when I found out that it was when I found out it was like written and directed by Matthew Bright, who was the co-writer of Forbidden Zone and is a super insane like gonzo underground filmmaker himself.
You mean the director of Tiptoes?
Yeah, he also made Tiptoes.
No one forgets
the one where Gary Oldman plays a little person on his knees.
Oh yeah. You can just see the shoes in front of his knees. That's a must see. By the way, that's my second.
Me and my best friend. Me and my best friend in junior high, Alice Goller. Shout out to Alice Goller. Would smoke cigarettes and watch Freeway like every day after school.
Freeway is so insane. I would like once knowing that. Oh yeah, it's from the people who made Forbidden Zone. I'm like, oh okay, this is it. Just like. Also, that fucking Southern accent is kicking her ass that whole movie.
She's Southern.
I know she is. I know she is, but that accent is not good. She's like playing like a cartoon version.
I remember her being like so good in that movie. You're telling me it doesn't quite hold up, her performance? Because I feel like
I think the performance does, but the accent doesn't, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that movie has a cold black heart.
That movie has a cold black heart.
It's great.
I mean, Brooke Shields is fucking insane in it as the wife. I really got a kick out of oh god, what's her name? Brittany Murphy.
Oh yeah,
As her lesbian love affair in prison with a super scarred up face.
Have
There's
you
a
guys
sequel
seen?
as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, have you seen Freeway 2: Confessions of a Trick Baby?
I have not.
I have seen it, but
with
it's been
Natasha
a long time.
Lyonne.
It's not as good.
Yeah,
it's really not as good.
I do know that I did see that Vinegar Syndrome has put them both out in a box set recently.
Yeah,
no, that
I bought the Freeway.
Buying, I'd say.
I bought the Freeway Vinegar Syndrome. I have that one, but I didn't get the dual set. But no,
it's never been a better time.
No,
I was just like, I didn't need something to put on while I'm working. This will be easy. And very quickly, I was like, whoa, okay, all right. Like
it has like the same
immediately
beginning. It has the
kind
same
of, yeah,
as Blonde Death too, with the incestual like father figure.
It immediately opens on her in school not being able to pronounce a sentence of like, the cat drank milk. Like her having to like read off a chalkboard and being like, the cat. And the whole like class applauds her when she finally gets it at the end. Like she's just fully illiterate, like kidnapping man. It's honestly like, I watched Ken Russell's Whore, and then I watched Freeway, and then Blonde Death, and boy, what a triple feature, like inadvertently.
Yeah. That's a trilogy right there.
Let's talk about a movie that is good. This is an outsider classic, I'll say it, although it's pretty obscure, but it's getting more attention now thanks to the good people at Bleeding Skull. We are discussing a tape by James Dillinger from 1984, Blonde Death.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hi, this is me, Tammy Lynn Beaverdorf, and these are my memoirs, in case we don't get out of here alive. I guess you know who I am by now since my name is all over the TV. But since everything they're saying about us is a pack of lies, I'd like to take this chance to set the record straight.
Genuine, three-dimensional human being.
Well, but any spaceman, that ain't all.
Sure is hot tonight.
Trash that in its place. My old man, the fatso. Instead of pot belly for a mouse. Look at my old man, the fatso. Did you know he owns this?
I think we made it.
I think we made it!
So this is a movie that I saw thanks to Dylan Dawson, which is why I wanted to have you on the show. Dylan bought the DVD version of this a few years ago that was released and accidentally bought two. So he gave me the other one. So it was me. I was the lucky recipient. So I had this on DVD before the Blu-ray just came out. So I saw this maybe 2 years ago or whenever it was. And I put it on knowing really nothing about it except that it was shot on video. And I don't like shot on video movies for the most part. I find them ugly and off-putting, and I'm all about aesthetics. And this movie is ugly, frankly, but the writing is so good. I mean, the dialogue is truly brilliant. I mean, he's neck and neck with like John Waters for hilarious, campy, batting, satirical. I mean, this is like as good as Female Trouble in terms of the script. And that just shines through so much that it's kind of the only shot on video movie that I like, that I can think of, really. And I went down a whole rabbit hole about James Dillinger because one Google search will tell you that his real name was James Robert Baker. And after this is the only movie he made. And then he became a novelist. So I read 2 of his novels, and weirdly, his novel Boy Wonder, I accidentally bought 2 copies of and gave one to Dylan, who read it and loved it as much as I did. So I'm really fascinated by this guy, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. Dylan, presumably you had heard of this before because you gave me a DVD copy of this. So what's your history with this?
Well, I wish it was like a cooler story. Like I found the VHS like in a back alley somewhere and, threw it in my old VHS player that I dusted off. But no, it's like I use Letterboxd like, other people, I don't know, use drugs, I guess. But I'm really, really addicted to it. And I, a lot of ways I try to find these sort of, outsider movies that like have these cult followings is like, I'm very much into like digging deep into people's lists and then cross-referencing them and doing, like average rating on a bunch of lists and sort of seeing what rises to the top. And Blonde Death was like rising to the top of a lot of these kinds of lists. And I, read about it and looked it up. And then I saw that a buddy of mine who's really big into SOVs, actually the guy who discovered the movie Things, if you've ever heard of that movie, the Barry Gillis movie. He's actually, there's a special feature about my friend on that DVD about how he discovered it. But anyway, he's a huge Blonde Death fan. So I like checked in with him as like my SOV guru. And he's like, it's the best one. It's the best SOV piece of art there is. And shout out Joey Izzo, by the way. And so I bought it from the website. And I think it was Bleeding Skull that was selling it on DVD too. I can't remember, but
it was.
Who I love, Bleeding Skull. And and then I just watched it and I became obsessed with it. And when I got 2, I knew that Josh, you had to be the other one to see it. Cause again, like you said, the writing is so sharp, so funny, like so legitimately laugh out loud funny and like joke heavy, but in a way that is strangely character based and profound and emotional, but also insane and gonzo. And it's very self-aware without being annoying. And it's transgressive without being edgelordy. It's just like, it's just a really delightful movie. And I watched it last night with former guest Heather Robb, my wife, last night, and she had not seen it. And she's not like an SOV person, but she was totally hooked the whole time. Absolutely loved it. It's just like a really accessible piece of outsider art that doesn't like give up any of its, but accessible doesn't mean that it's not dangerous or taking chances or any of that. It's like a really legitimate, great film. That's not a film. It's a video.
It's got a lot of bite.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll give a synopsis such as it is. This movie follows teenage Tammy Lynn Beaverdorf, played by Sarah Lee Wade, who is
the names of this movie are incredible.
They're so good. Who has a thick Southern accent, and she's narrating her story into a tape recorder, memoir style, because the police are closing in on her, and so she's telling the story of the past several months, which follow her and her parents who have moved to Orange County from a small southern town for her father's work. She seems to be in some sort of incestuous relationship with her father. She's at war with her stepmother, whose name is Clarette. And she ends up kind of going on the run with a young murderer that she meets named Link, who's like a hot young. It's basically like Badlands or Natural Born Killers or something like that, but sort of funneled through the voice of a filmmaker closer to John Waters or Greg Araki. And it's shot on video, and it has all these songs by the 80s LA punk band Angry Samoans, which are great. Mm-hmm. There's a whole extended scene where they illegally filmed at Disneyland, which we'll talk about.
Donkeyland,
but
yes.
But basically, it's a lovers on the run story. And it's as simple as that, really. But is there anything to add in terms of just like plot or?
I mean, there's also a like religiously motivated Tylenol killer knockoff B-plot. There's also a one-eyed predatory lesbian who has her own violent schemes.
Oh, I love Gwen. What's
Gwen's
the line,
best.
Dylan? That
she says, why don't you come home? We can drink herbal tea and listen to women's records. It's so good. And Josh, what you call incest, I don't know what's wrong with the dad letting his daughter wear her mama's big heels and walk, stiletto heels and walk all over his face.
There's nothing wrong with a father dressing up in a wig and a dress and being the twin sister she never had.
Yes.
Yeah, he says
there's nothing wrong with
like Scarlett O'Hara dressing up like Scarlett O'Hara,
matching Scarlett O'Hara dresses. Like
there's nothing wrong with a father decapitating a donkey for popping her boner at her birthday party.
God,
It also later reveals that her real mother is dead because her dad lied and tricked her, basically, as a prank, said, "Oh, a bluebird just flew into that wood chipper," and the mom chased a bluebird into a wood chipper.
I'm glad you brought up this scene really right off the bat, because this scene
crazy.
highlights why the actress, oh my God, I had her name written down. Who's the main actress?
Sarah Lee Wade.
Thank you, Sarah Lee Wade. She's incredible in this movie. First of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to Sarah Lee Wade, who this sort of PJ Souls esque.
Yes, she looks exactly like PJ Souls.
Yeah, she's got the split bang hair.
Yeah, and she's so good. And that scene where she's on the phone with her drunk dad and he's confessing all this to her, but he's not there.
He's on a business trip to Saudi Arabia.
Where he pees on a mosque. But the acting she does in that scene, just taking in that story and has to give us all that information. She plays it all so straight and so well in a way that is just so charming and funny. I just love her so much in this movie.
Me too. And there's a really great featurette with her on the disc, where she talks about it. And, it seems like they had a great time making it. It was shot for $2,000 on VHS. And basically it took a year because they just shot it whenever they had a little chunk of time and they could get everybody. And she was like, I was a young actor. I knew that it wasn't going to be in movie theaters. I knew that it was a little thing that we were doing for fun. So I just viewed it as an acting exercise and tried to have a good time. So she just seems like a really innocent, charming, not at all like this character person. But she was also waitress. Said in terms, she was just a waitress and a struggling actor, a new actor. And she said, that she kind of didn't understand the tone until she was much older. So in the moment, she was like, I'm going to play this straight. I'm going to really play this character as a 3D human being. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the best way to approach this material. And it just really kind of weirdly grounds the movie in a way. And you really do care about Tammy, and it's a great performance. But I would say almost all the performances are
across
great.
the board.
I think Clarette is really funny, great John Waters, mink stole kind of villain.
Yeah, Mrs. Hannigan kind of step up on acid.
Gwen, the one-eyed lesbian, is hysterical. Incredible. I think both the young men, Link and Troy, are pretty good. It's a good movie, legitimately.
Yes. It's legitimately incredible movie, and it's so funny. We put it on in bed last night, and we're cackling the entire way through.
And I don't know how much you this was my introduction to EZTV, which was the collective that it came out of, that I really didn't know anything about until digging through the special features and going to the website.
Me too. Let's talk about EZTV.
Yeah. So, oh my God.
EZTV still exists actually, but now it's much artier and it's kind of a different thing. But EZTV was formed in 1979 by John Doerr, who was a queer filmmaker from Yale, of all places, who came to LA. And because he was openly gay, there was kind of not a place for him in Hollywood. But he also had the foresight to understand that technology was changing and it was going to democratize film in a way that Hollywood nor the art world were really prepared for. And so he started this queer filmmakers collective in West Hollywood called EZTV, which was a bunch of queer people using VHS technology to make these very queer, strange, weird, sometimes transgressive, sometimes quasi-pornographic, just very queer movies. And it was also an art space and an art gallery. And by some estimations, the first art gallery to be dedicated purely to video art. And just as a rad place for queer filmmakers. And the filmmaker James Dillinger became involved because he met them all. He just graduated from UCLA with a film degree or a screenwriting degree. And he was volunteering for the Film X Film Festival, which is now kind of forgotten, but at the time was one of the preeminent Los Angeles film festivals. And so he met these people volunteering there. And it's a bit like the Dreamlanders and John Waters, it's like a bunch of gay men in West Hollywood making weird movies on VHS. And so this movie's run, such as it is, was an AV car at the back of this storefront gallery and 40 people sitting in folding chairs watching this on an AV car.
When I saw that, there's a great special feature on the new Blu-ray of John Doerr giving this tour of the space, which is the most charming 9-minute video, and looks like the kind of place that an artist just you long for as an artist, just this sort of scrappy place where like money is not why anyone's there, and everyone's just there to make art and share it. But like that screening room was just like those really uncomfortable chairs and the TV and everything. I was like, part of me was like, God, would I want to see Psycho when it opened without knowing anything, or would I want to be at that first backroom screening of Blonde Death? Because I just feels like that room probably was just the most positive, like exciting space to be when he first screened it there. And I just love that. Like they also talk about like how Blonde Death was a big success for EZTV, and like, but the metric of that is, well, it just played at a lot of VCR like screenings around town more than the other movies. And like, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, and we played it every Saturday night. So for us, it was a huge success. And like, it's a beautiful metric.
Mm-hmm.
They had these like sort of VCR screenings, but it was also like dubbed and passed around a lot like a punk rock mixtape sort of. So a lot of people saw it that way too. And Sarah Lee Way said that years later she was getting headshots made at a printing shop, and somebody behind her started like mouthing dialogue from Blonde Death, and she was like, I really had no idea that it got around like that.
That would be me if I saw her now. I would.
Oh
be.
My God.
She seems like
I would
a very
be uncool. Yeah.
She's very good in this. I would love to talk about James Dillinger, the filmmaker. That is not his real name. His real name is James Robert Baker, rather. And he's mostly a novelist. So this was the only film he made. He really wanted to be a filmmaker. He loves movies. All of his novels are about movies in some way or another. Raised in Southern California to an abusive father. His father actually hired a private investigator to follow him around to find out if he was gay or not.
Oh, Jesus.
And so he was like going to these underground gay parties in LA as a teenager. And James Dillinger obviously is a nod to John Dillinger, the gangster. So this is a very rebellious, trenched in punk rock, self-described anarchist person. And filmmaking didn't really work out for him. He really hated it. He hated the industry. He hated sitting across a table from dum-dums trying to pitch something cool to an idiot, which is like, anyone in LA can relate, I think. So he started writing novels. And as soon as I discovered him, I picked up a couple. I got Tim and Pete, and I got Boy Wonder. And I weirdly accidentally ordered 2 copies of Boy Wonder and gave one to Dylan. So I know that Dylan has read it too, but his novels are extraordinary.
Incredible book. I mean, Boy
Wonder is so fucking funny and good.
It's really because it's an oral history. It's pitched as an oral history about a fake movie producer in like 70s, 80s, well, through like several like generations of Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like a life story.
It's a life story, and it's like 500 pages, and it's the things that happen in it. It's like if like the Marquis de Sade wrote Easy Riders, Raging Bulls. It's just like, or if like George Bataille wrote, Hollywood Expos, like wrote like Pictures at a Revolution. It's like, so it's just hard to describe just how upsetting and funny and insane and just ahead of its time it is. Yeah. Like, Josh, you were texting me that like your dream would be to make it into a miniseries. And it's like, it's,
but no one would ever let me.
No one would ever allow
no one would ever fund that. I mean, this is a story about, he's like, his name is Shark Traeger, and like people get accidentally decapitated on his set or something, like things like that.
Or he makes a movie about a serial killer that like rapist, but he lets them come to the set of the movie about him, and he starts like masturbating while they're shooting, and it's upsetting. It's just like the things that happen in it are so just so wild, and it just keeps, every page has just ups the ante, and you just, by the end, it's just a complete fever dream. Of course, it ends at the Oscars, and it's just like a true incredible fever dream of like someone who hates Hollywood but loves Hollywood. Just it's a really, if that, like that and Blonde Death alone make him truly one of our great like satirists and artists, I believe, and writers.
Well, his last novel was called Tim and Pete, which I also read, and it is from the 90s, and it's about a gay couple with HIV who go on a killing spree to kill conservative politicians, and it was very controversial, even amongst queer people who can be pretty conservative. And essentially, he could never get published again. It destroyed his career, even though it's really beautiful and good. And he ended up taking his own life at the age of 51 in 1997 by using carbon monoxide in his garage. So,
which is a method of death in Blonde Death, which is a mode of
Blonde Death.
Yeah.
And a lot of his books, more than one of his books, because there's also one called Testosterone that has this element, has this quality of like gay men against the world. And there's and
Fuel Injected Dreams is the other one. I haven't read it, but I ordered it.
Yes, that one is the one that's based on the life of Phil Spector, I believe.
Can I just read the on the back of this book? The tagline is "The beat is rock, the throb is love."
Oh my God.
So good.
So anyways, just and also because he couldn't get published anymore, and they gave him this really shitty nickname, which is the world's last angry gay man, which was like so insulting, and it just he was treated horribly by Hollywood, basically, even though he was such a genius and very controversial figure for obvious reasons, but now largely forgotten. And like my aim is to like boost his profile in any small way that I can.
I mean, the way to adapt Boy Wonder, Josh, is to shoot it on video and shoot it like, and just to do it guerrilla. And
I mean, I do have a VHS camera. It's at Drusilla's house at the present. But
my dad just got me an old Betamax camera and Betamax player that I'm trying to like figure out how to like this really old giant Betamax. And I ordered all these tapes to try to like that have like, I just got a lot of people's like used Betamax tapes so I could go through and see what people's tapes have on them, but also like see if I could shoot with it. And there's some technical problems I got to get it fixed, but like, it made me want to like, that's the other thing about Blonde Death. It'll make you want to take out your old VHS tape and just start shooting. And which is something that people I know do now with like their digital cameras, but there's something about it that is like even sub that. It's like sub.
Well, there's a beautiful like kind of like analog decay that happens while shooting on VHS that you can like see in, because I've shot a lot of stuff on VHS camcorders, which is why I borrowed Josh's. And I have like 2 or 3 others in my closet that don't work that need to get fixed. Josh is the only one that happens to work.
Let me know when you find your guy, because I need to use them too.
I will. Apparently there's one over here in Glendale that's supposed to be very good.
Great.
But there's a beautiful like decay because it truly can't capture enough information. So he doesn't know what to do with it a lot of the times. And you'll see it in Blonde Death, the way that like light streaks will like form on if they like whip pan past like a blue light, it'll like streak across the screen as the camera moves and stay there for a little while. And that's just intrinsic to the way VHS photographs. And it's beautiful. It's super fucked up and grainy.
There's a beautiful moment in this movie where there's like a falling in love montage between Tammy and Link. And James Dillinger is clearly kind of ripping off the prom at Carrie because they're on the beach and they're slow dancing and the camera's spinning around them. But the VHS tape is like glitching and it just looks so beautiful. And it's like entirely an accident of the medium, that glitchiness. But to your point, Drew, it just looks stunning.
I want to shout out to Bleeding Skull. This is not a visual medium, but I ordered the version that has the record single.
You're so fucking lucky. I tried to get that sold out so fast.
I know. And it's the love song. That's that really sweet saxophone song. But it's a love song. But then it has quotes from the movie playing over the song when you put it on. It's like
that's cool.
Just the sweetest little like. Anyway, but
that's so cool looking.
Yeah, I love that whole sequence too, and I love the blue like trails you're talking about. I feel like they happen like towards the end in like a hyper dramatic scene because cameras whipping around because they're arguing or or during the action, and it's just really effective. Also, like the action in this movie kind of thrilling and good. Like the
sound
like
of
really well done.
The gunshot sound design is so impactful because it's the fucking loudest thing in the movie. It sounds like a fucking cannon going off when the first person gets shot. It's really jarring.
It's really just like it's someone who loves movies, someone who hates Hollywood, and someone who also loves Hollywood. Like I said before, it's just the tension of that and the low budgetness of this. I actually have a question for you guys. Like, do you think if it was shot on film, this exact same script shot on film with say PJ Souls would be awesome, but like with someone who was like, would it be the same movie? Like, it wouldn't be the same movie, but would it still be a great movie? As it great as it would is.
Still, yes. I feel like it would still be a great movie because it's working with his direction and his script. However, I don't know if it would be as good because, and this is the time to get into it, you couldn't do the Disneyland set piece any other way than this.
Right.
And they had to cut some of that.
People at Disneyland, they did have to cut some of it because they did say Disneyland in an earlier version. They had to change it to Donkeyland. But
same with Pat Goon.
I was going to say Pat Goon instead of Pat Boone.
I love Pat Goon.
Pat Goon is the fact that
it's a better choice.
The fact that they accidentally shoot him to death on the beach is so
and they don't realize.
They don't realize it.
Whoever shot that motherfucker's probably laughing their ass off right now.
Brilliant writing.
Oh my
God. What I was going to say about this movie, I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. Would I like it more if it were shot on 16 millimeter and everything else was the same? Probably, to be honest. I hate saying that. And I also think, had it been shot on film, if they had $20,000 instead of $2,000, or just this is shot on beautiful color 16 millimeter film, I think this would be as classic as Repo Man. I think it would be like an LA cult classic. And I think the only reason it's not is that it's shot on video. And that is like a barrier to entry to many, many people, including, I hate to say it, myself. And a lot of, like, I'm not reaching for shot on video movies for my entertainment.
Right. It's interesting because I think about that, but then I think about, the performances that he gets from it just being, I feel like so much of the performances are from just the grab it and go quality. And I just like, I wonder if the performances would have been more stiff or been less like, I don't know. There's something like...
Well, and also VHS is the earliest thing before we actually got to digital where like it was so cheap to shoot on that you could do multiple takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas a 16 millimeter, you're really counting your pennies.
Yeah.
And he was such a stickler for everyone being word perfect and for, so I'm sure there were many takes because
he was like John Waters where it was like, you have to say this exactly as written. And furthermore, I'm going to show you exactly how to say it. Basically.
And also the scene's going to go on for 5 minutes.
Yeah. He's so good. But I do think, I don't know. I on one hand, I think this movie is perfect and I love it and everything about it is good, but I also prefer the look of film. And I think most people do. So I don't know.
I love shot on video as an aesthetic. I think it's an oddity and I think it's great. I think rather than wishing that this movie had been made on 16 or something like that, I just wish he'd gotten a second movie to shoot on 16 after. Yeah. That's my dream.
Yeah.
And we never get that.
I also just want to shout out because I did a little like EZTV. I went to their website, which is really well done and well curated, and was just sort of poking around. And they have like all those movies. They have all of John Doerr's features. And I was watching one. What was it called? It was called like I should have had this ready. Something Omega. But it's this feature length movie about like 3 people meeting on a road trip and going on a hike on this long trail and just sort of talking about their relationships that is like really stagey at times and sort of, but like also really predates mumblecore and predates Richard Linklater and it's like, it's these movies were, this, you go through the website and watch these movies. He made a feature length, video SOV movie about Dorothy Parker, I believe, like a period piece, but it's like shot on and her like bisexual husband. And it's just like, but it's shot on video and it's just like really, it's just like really, I hope it's Dorothy Parker. God, I'm getting all my information wrong. People look it up and tell me, you'll figure it out. But it's just like these period pieces that are, like very serious and straight faced. Like they were really trying to make a case for video being not just, for a punk rock aesthetic or like they were like really trying to make moving feature films that were to be taken seriously. And I really admire that. And it is interesting to watch. Is it as entertaining as watching an old, film? I don't know, but it's worth exploring that whole scene and that work.
Yeah.
I know. I feel bad that I feel this way.
No, you're not
that it's
wrong.
like sort of a dumb It is sort of a dum-dum. But also I'm coming from a place where the shot on video movies I have seen are like, one that I had as a teenager was Redneck Zombies, which is like a pretty well-known zombie movie that's shot on video in the 80s. And it's got its charm, but it's like, mostly that's what I associate with shot on video, is people doing work that's so transgressive and so gory. And this is that transgressive too, and in some ways more transgressive. But I don't know. I feel like this has like kind of higher aspirations, although James Dillinger would probably be annoyed that I'm saying that. But I associate shot on video with schlock in a derogatory way, I guess is what I'm getting at. Which sometimes is fun and sometimes is tedious. It just depends on the movie. But
no, it really depends. It depends on the art. It's like, you feel those minutes are a little longer when it's on video. Like the minutes feel a little longer. True. The runtime is a little longer. Even with Blonde Deaths at times, like you know, as perfect as it is, sometimes you feel it. But that's also like, not to get too, it's also a sound thing. It's like, for me, the SOV barrier is often the sound. It's often that the sound feels sort of, not mixed, abrasive. It's not like that. To me is the limit more than the visuals, because I find the visuals 100% sort of nostalgic and interesting.
If these people had been mic'd, I think the more people would have seen this movie, frankly. Yeah. That's the thing that people always say about filmmaking, right? Like the thing that you cannot scrimp on is sound, because people notice whether they know it or not.
That's right.
I mean, but like, it's also the very like early John Waters movies are also shot on one microphone that's over in the corner too.
So but everybody's screaming all of their yeah. When when we saw Female Trouble at the Academy Museum at that giant 1,000-person theater, it just like it was assaultive to see.
Yeah, it is assaultive.
Everyone just screaming on this enormous 70 millimeter screen with this Dolby Atmos sound, like just Divine screaming at you for it was incredible.
Can you imagine attending a double feature of Female Trouble into Blonde Death?
I'll tell you that it's for a very niche audience, which all of us are members of.
Yeah,
each other there. Yes.
I wouldn't take Joel to that. Last night when I was watching this, Joel was grading papers at the dining room table, and he's like, "How long is this movie?"
I feel like people listening know whether or not by now if this is a movie for them, and if you think this is a classic, if this sounds like it's for you, it's 100% for you.
Yeah,
even just a little bit.
Most of our audience, this is for them.
I know. All the deviants and weirdos come out to the show, so they're probably already have it like on their shelves and just haven't watched it yet.
This Blu-ray sold. Like this was a huge.
It sold like gangbusters. I was so I saw it pop up because I'm always checking the Vinegar Syndrome stuff and the OCN like catalog stuff, because I get to work with them a lot, do a lot of covers with them, so I'm always checking to be like, hey, did that one I work on come out this month? Nope, I'll wait for next month. But like I saw it come up and I immediately texted Josh and be like, oh hey, that movie you love is available on Blu-ray, and I sent him the link and I put it in my cart and I was like, oh, but I'll wait, because it was like subscriber week, so they had other stuff going on sale the next day. I was like, oh, I'll just wait and I'll just get it with that other stuff, no problem. And then I checked back later that day after Josh was like, oh cool, I just bought it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll get it at the same time. All of 2 hours later, and the version with the disc was gone, the version with the slipcase was gone, other than just the standard one. And I think the standard one might also be like pretty almost gone. What's the website say?
Very heartening, I gotta say.
Yeah,
it is heartening in a way, but also it prevents. I mean, is Bleeding Skull an imprint of Vinegar Syndrome?
Bleeding Skull is their own company, and Vinegar Syndrome has OCN distribution, which they basically like offer physical distribution to other labels to have their own sort of like Blu-ray companies that they couldn't afford to. And so Bleeding Skull is on there, Agfa is on there. Alternate Innocence used to be.
Shout out Fun City Editions.
And Fun City are no longer. They are elsewhere now.
Okay. This is my favorite kind of conversation, by the way. That the last 3 minutes were just like my dream
point
combo.
Was this. Like, I've been watching a lot of stuff on the Arrow player lately, and we love Arrow on the show, obviously, but like, I also love Vinegar Syndrome, and I wish that there was a hub for all of those labels to stream the movies, because physical media is important, and I would encourage anyone to get a copy of this, of course, but that's the only way to really watch it right now, and I just wish it were streaming. That's all. It is actually, I will say, it is on the internetarchive.org, which is also where you can watch The Devils when it's not streaming.
Mhm.
But
Which version?
the quality is not great, and you're watching it on your laptop and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah, so.
I will say a lot of titles that come up on Vinegar Syndrome or Severin and stuff like that usually end up on Shudder, and also a lot of the Agfa and Vinegar Syndrome titles also end up on the Arrow Player app.
They do.
So I wouldn't
it's
be
true.
surprised if in a few months Blonde Death pops up on either or both of them.
If it does, we got to shout it from the rooftops because we need people to see this.
And we will. I feel like with the success of how fast the home video release kind of popped off in pre-orders, according to their website, the standard edition is still available, but they only have about 800 copies left of the standard edition. They will restock it, I assume, after that. But they stock over 2,000 to 5,000 of standard editions, which means this has moved a fuck ton of units, which is very exciting for Bleeding Skull's first Blu-ray release. So
Yeah.
Oh, is it their first Blu-ray?
It's their first standalone Blu-ray release. They've done some by licensing their stuff out to Agfa in the past, but this is, as Bleeding Skull, as an imprint of OCN and Vinegar Syndrome, this is their first Blu-ray release, and it did gangbusters.
They nailed it.
So hopefully they'll do Mark Bessinger's Ninja Zombie soon, or things like
Oh,
that.
amazing. Yeah.
More shot on video gold.
If this encourages anyone listening to watch the movie, it is explicitly a queer movie. Her boyfriend Link, who she falls in love with, has his own boyfriend named Troy, who shows up a little way into the movie, and they were
So they have a menage a
together.
twat.
So they have a menage a twat, one of them French deals.
The T is silent. If it's good enough for the French.
And Sarah Lee Way said that she didn't want to be nude in the movie, which annoyed James Dellinger. But luckily, the actor who played Link had no problem being naked. So he's like shirtless the whole movie. You see his pubes a lot. You see his ass a lot. Both of the young men are extremely hot. Do you know who the most successful actor is in this movie, weirdly? His name is Daniel Lynch. He's Gwen, the predatory lesbian's ex-husband, who they go and poke out one of his eyes as a biblical retribution.
Gouge it out with a melon baller and then toss it down the garbage
And then he goes
disposal.
back and watches the game. He has a
He just keeps watching the game. He works nonstop, and he's in the upcoming Ty West movie Maxine.
Wow.
That's so cool.
God, worlds
That guy's been
colliding.
in like a ton of stuff in small bit parts. Of course, he's not a huge movie star or anything, but he's just worked consistently.
That's the dream
Since
career.
really
To be in
is.
Blonde Death and Maxine is the dream.
And Maxine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I love the songs by Angry Samoans. I've been listening to them all day. Aside from the saxophone love song, it's all Angry Samoans all the time. What did you guys think of those songs?
Wait, do we have the titles of those at hand? Because the titles
They're
are
like,
so...
My Old Man's a Fatso, Shut Up You Asshole, Steak Knife. They're like...
Yeah,
really
they're
great.
incredible. And a good use of music, too. It really is like... Because there is no... Except for there's no score.
She's just
on this
dancing
movie.
around in her shirt and panties to...
Just dreaming about running new through a Walmart or sitting on Richard Gere's face. Like, yeah, no, I mean, the needle drops are all great. And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible, it's an overused term, punk rock movie though. It really is legitimate.
But it really is a punk rock movie. I mean, it really is like an artifact of LA's punk scene and queer scene. And the fact that it's from 1984, I mean, I can't express how conservative America was in 1984. With
you
Reagan
could,
in office.
as this movie shows, you could get arrested for killing a bunch of rich people, even if they deserved it, if they're friends with the Reagans, which is such a tough break.
Just,
is this the most quotable movie you guys have ever done? It's so quotable, and it's so like when you go through Letterboxd, it's like so many of the reviews are just quotes, including it's one of those movies where people just quote it.
It's up there because, I mean, really we're cheating because this isn't strictly a horror movie. So like we haven't really covered directly female trouble, even though we talk about it every week.
Or Repo Man or
Repo Man,
the super quotable cult movies.
Mm-hmm.
But this is hands down the most quotable movie we've ever done.
Yes. easily.
But like, we're breaking our format just a little bit to talk about this movie, but we're also doing like preservation work of making sure people fucking watch this goddamn movie.
And we can see, I mean, this does have mass murder in it. It does, it's enough.
The aforementioned eye gouge, the gas. Yeah, there is blood.
Can I also just really quickly, like, speaking of the mass murder and the like true crime angle of all this, because a lot of these kinds of movies tend to like dance around like Honeymoon Killers and Badlands are like loosely based on true crime incidents. But the only other movie that does what this movie does, which is like mention a real life true crime incident and then expand past on it, is Multiple Maniacs with the Sharon Tate murders. The way that this does the Tylenol murders of like, we put cyanide in the Tylenol, that way we can like explain that, oh, they also got a bad batch, and her be like, no, it's safe now, it's triple sealed. This movie was made in 83, like right after a while that was happening.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, just to name yourself James Dillinger, first of all, and I mean, he's like a punk rock dude, and in a lot of ways he's very controversial. Not just in the way that he was transgressive, but he was an anarchist, so he wasn't afraid of offending anybody, including leftists. I mean, he was like, he's kind of an edgelord in the good way.
Yeah, very much so, and not the fucking like Reddit fucking 4chan asshole way of just asking questions. Come on, you fucking.
I also love the ending, which I'm going to spoil, which is that the cops they think plainclothes cops are coming to the door, so they take cyanide in like a romantic double suicide, and it's two men leaving the watchtower, so they were Jehovah's Witnesses, so they kill themselves for nothing.
One of whom is Dillinger. One of those guys,
and one of them is James Dillinger, cool. And the other one is John Doerr, who started EZTV.
Yes. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's the perfect fucking cameo casting. I love how consistently throughout this movie they keep getting away with everything. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the cops show up like in that scene in Bound to be like, hey, we heard some gunshots, and she was like, oh yeah, I heard that too, what was that? Anyway, period blood, bye.
Yeah, because they're like, you have blood on your leg, and she's like, oh yeah, I was changing my Tampax when you showed up.
It's just the way they leave bodies just around too on the beach when they they don't know that body's there, but then like she drops like Gwen's body or whatever, and then just like leaves it there on the lawn in the middle of the day in the suburbs. It's just like it's just a very like fun, like that. Like it's very fun and breezy in that way, almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, it also like it does not give the police enough credit to actually catch them either. Really,
No, and they probably only got those police uniforms for like a day anyway. So what are they going to do?
Totally. Yeah. They rent them by the hour.
Yeah. I will say I'm very shocked and impressed that they've got that like black Camaro in this movie, where that's beyond the budget of this movie. That car costs, even like in 83, like good Lord, where did that come from?
Well, they got the house because one of the members of EZTV was a real estate agent, like some gay real estate agent. So that was like a house that was like in the process of getting ready to be sold.
Which is what
it's very clearly empty, and they just put some lawn chairs in there and are like, cool, production design.
And they explain that it's empty because the family has just moved in and their furniture hasn't arrived yet. So it's like,
where's that moving? Get in that butterfly chair.
Get in that butterfly chair is such a funny line to me.
Yeah, they've got like one bookcase and some TVs on the floor, and that's it.
It's so funny. This movie is also sort of punk rock in the fact that it shows clips from
big movies,
Rebel Without a Cause and stuff like that, and just like not a care in the world. It's like, here's a clip from Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
Love it. I love this movie so much. I'm so excited to finally talk about it. It's time to move on to our favorite game. Have they seen it? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I have someone in mind, thinking about the LA punk scene. Do you think that Henry Rollins has ever seen
That was mine, Josh.
That was yours?
Yes, that was mine.
Holy shit.
Well, because Black Flag, like, performed with, or like worked at collaborated with EZTV.
Oh, so, really?
Yes.
He's definitely seen it.
Like, yeah, so I had the same question. I was like, I feel like he has encountered this film.
I feel like he's absolutely seen it. He's seen it. Glenn Danzig has not.
No.
1,000,000% has not.
Dylan, I'm pretty sure you know about this, but Drusilla, do you know about Glenn and Henry Forever?
Yes, I do. I have it.
I do
The
not.
comic
I have
about
it
them in a gay
You don't know about it,
relationship?
Dylan?
No,
It's
I
a
don't.
comic book. It's a comic book series where Glenn Danzig and Henry Rollins are a gay couple who live in the suburbs, and their next door neighbors, the villains, are Hall and Oates, who are also a gay couple and also Satanists. And the quote on the cover is from Henry Rollins, and it's simply, "Has Glenn seen this?"
I'm ordering this.
My
as we
friend
speak.
Ethan got it for my girlfriend Ivory for Christmas last year.
I love
That
it so
is-
much.
Wow, that's good
I
order.
love the Misfits, but it's always been a bummer, like what a square Glenn Danzig is. And
Yeah. Remember
Yeah.
his horror movie
not
a
as
few
cool
years
as
ago?
Henry Rollins.
Yeah, I went to the premiere.
Yeah,
you were there.
Drusilla's talked about the
You were
premiere
there.
on the show.
Oh.
I was at the premiere with him, the film's production designer, and Fred Armisen. It was one of the weirdest nights of my life.
That was like a notorious screening, I feel like.
It's a very notorious screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a bad movie, I hear.
Yes.
It's because like
I've
half
skimmed
the
it.
audience wanted to laugh at the movie, and the other half of it was like Danzig's right there. And then afterwards, there was a Q&A where he got up on the stage. You know, all 4 foot nothing of him got up on the stage and was like, "Yeah, I was really into Mario Bava, and I think we really nailed the look of Bava in this." I'm like, "No, you fucking did not, my man. No, you did not."
Yeah, he like nailed the look of like a Hellraiser 7 straight to video sequel is what it seemed like.
Yeah.
But I like, so Henry Rollins, but I also was like, because like Yoko Ono did stuff there, Jean-Luc Godard showed stuff there. So I was like,
I
which of
buy a
these
guitar
people-
doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, have they seen this movie? Like, but those are just people who were around floating.
So
around.
I love Yoko Ono very much.
Me too.
I think the Beatles ruined Yoko Ono, not vice versa.
Mhm.
But she seems a little bit humorless at times, and I don't know that she would be into this. But I don't feel like she's seen this.
I feel like if she has seen it, I could see her describing it as one of the scariest movies ever made.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
I feel like if Yoko Ono or Bjork saw that, they would be like shell shocked and be like, "Have you seen the scariest thing ever made? It is called
Yeah.
Blonde Death. Truly the bleak beating heart of America."
Yeah. That's so
The other one I was thinking was, has Elijah Wood seen this? Because I feel like he's
Oh,
the
I
kind of
feel like he
person
has.
who is like, has this.
Yeah,
tape.
he would love it. If he
He would
hasn't
love
seen
it.
it,
Yes.
he's about to. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the Blu-ray is on its way to his house. If he doesn't have
Exactly.
it already.
I feel like okay. Sorry, I have one more too along those lines.
Yeah.
I was like, did Tracy Letts, famous physical media collector who buys every Blu-ray, like from Vinegar, he's like, you know,
He and Carrie Coon. They
Carrie
both
and Carrie
like
Coon.
have a huge home video
he
library.
calls it what I call my collection. I steal from him his sickness. But
Oh my God.
yeah, and Carrie Coon says she's a DVD widow, which Heather relates to. But no, I was like, have Tracy and Carrie popped this one on yet?
I love the idea of Carrie Coons watching Blonde Death.
I don't think they've watched it yet, but I think they're going to love it when they do.
Yeah,
She always posts what they're watching
I know,
together.
the stacks.
It's so adorable. I love them so much.
Ugh.
Them and Edgar Wright are the two that are always buying this kind of stuff and posting about it, and it fills my heart so much to know that some of my shit's on their shelves.
That's awesome.
Mhm. I mean,
Drew, who do you got?
mine's really obvious, but I
Okay.
need to know the answer. Do you think John Waters has seen this?
Do you know what? My gut immediately said no.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I
I
feel
really
like if he
feel
had
like
seen
he
it, he
has
would
it,
have
but that's
talked
so
about it.
weird.
I feel like he
Yeah.
would.
No.
I
He
feel like
never
you
stops
Googled,
talking about movies that he loves.
Yeah, I feel like we
Yeah.
would Google John Waters' Blonde Death and there'd be a quote.
Right?
So, yeah,
Like this and like The Loved One are the two movies that feel like I was shocked John Waters didn't make them, but I've also never heard him talk about them.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of how like you look at interviews of David Lynch being like, "I don't know who Buñuel is. I like Fellini and The Wizard of Oz," and you're like, "But your movies are just like his movies. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you haven't seen this stuff?" I would, if John Waters hasn't seen this movie, oh my god, to be in the room with him when he watches Blonde Death for the first time.
I almost feel like he wouldn't like it. in a weird
Yeah,
way.
so maybe sometimes sometimes something will be so for me that it's like not for me at all. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys where it's like, oh, this is too on the nose.
That's like Gregoraki for me. I don't like Gregoraki movies.
Oh, interesting.
That's surprising.
I just don't like them. Yeah.
My other one,
it is surprising.
I was going to ask, speaking of shooting on lo-fi technology that's just available at the time, and illegally filming in Disneyland, do you think that the maybe second most successful post Soderbergh, I guess, iPhone filmmaker Sean Baker has seen Blonde Death, who famously filmed the end of the Florida Project down at Disney Donkey World in Florida?
I feel like Sean Baker has seen this.
Yeah, he also is a huge home video collector, and he and I buy our vintage posters from the same person.
I love Sean Baker so much. I mean, when I saw Tangerine for the first time, I was just so blown away by it.
Yeah, incredible.
I feel like he bought the Bleeding Skull DVD of this around the same time that you guys did, years ago, and has known about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like the Disney ending in the Florida Project is probably directly inspired by what they did in Blonde Death. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if
he's got really trashy tastes. He makes some really beautiful movies, and he makes.
But his Letterboxd is all
he's watching near Italian porn, and it's okay. He's cool.
You can also tell by his subject matter. Even though his movies are very arty and thoughtful and sensitive, the subject matter is still sex workers who are quasi-homeless or people living in a hotel by Disney World. Do you know what I mean? He's in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's giving humanity to these sort of pulpy B-movie sort of tropes.
He's the best. I love his work.
He's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He rocks so much.
That's it for this episode of Bloodhaus. If you liked it, please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Please seek out Blonde Death wherever you can. It's such a good movie, and we want it to be available forever. Dylan, do you want people to find you? And if so,
I'm going to give everyone my Letterboxd because that is my social media of choice. Drusilla, I already follow you, but it is Dylan. Wait, what is it? It's oh my god. Sorry, 1 second here. It's Dylan James Dawson is my Letterboxd, my full name.
Okay.
And my 4 picks are all the same movie. It's the TV movie Cocaine, starring Dennis Weaver. So that's how you know.
Oh, yeah, I've been talking about
that. But that's Drusilla, where I live and breathe.
Great. Drusilla, where can people find you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhidedesign.com. You can buy some cure prints from me there, which are signed and shipping. You can buy some Rolling Stones prints that I have up there for the Some Girls anniversary tour, whatever that happened recently. They're all in my house. I even have the super limited rainbow foil prints. They're fucking gorgeous. Some of them are already moving really fast. There's only a handful left. And you can find me on Letterboxd as well. If you look for Drusilla Adeline or Sister Hyde, you're going to find me. And see all of the crazy shit I've been saying and all my love for Jean Roland. And then you can also find me on Instagram if you look for Hyde Sister, which is just Sister Hyde in reverse and not my name. Please stop calling me Hyde Sister. What about you, Josh? How can people track you down like Pat Goon?
At my house, which is at 10:33. No, I'm kidding. I am on Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram at Joshua Conkel. Now, we are going back to the 2000s next week. What are we watching, Drusilla?
Next week, we are making an excursion across the globe, out of color, and into black and white when we watch the gorgeous, heartbreaking, and moving, and vampiric A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Cannot wait. Thank you so much, Dylan. And
it's my absolute pleasure and honor, frankly, to talk about this movie that I hope more people see.
And thank you for listening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.